Welcome to The Woman in the Work. I'm your host, Holly Lambrecht, and I'm really glad you're here. This podcast is about the relationship between the woman we're becoming and the work we're building in the world. Because behind every business, every dream, and every big decision, there's quieter work happening within us too. And here, we talk about both. I was driving to my session with Jamie last week. It's been the same drive that I've done for almost a year now. And I know every turn of it without even thinking. And somewhere around maybe the halfway point, before I even knew what I was going to say to her, I knew what I wanted to ask her. I knew that I wanted to ask her to come on the show. So last week, I sat with a question I didn't really have an answer for. Why am I still doing this alone? And I told you I didn't have a clean answer yet, that I needed to sit on it a little bit longer. And I meant that. I didn't want to just wrap it up in a bow because the episode needed to end. So I sat on it for like 4 days. It just kind of lived in the background of everything else that I was doing. And then I was driving to see Jamie, my somatic practitioner, the woman who has honestly just completely changed how I understand my own body, my own healing, and my whole life, really. And it hit me. And it wasn't some big moment where I had to like pull my car over or anything, but just like this quiet kind of knowing that didn't really like announce itself. It was just sitting there. Like it's already been true. But I was only now catching up to it. My story is one story. That's kind of it, honestly. 13 episodes of me. And it's only one story out of so many. And I don't think I fully got out what I was doing until I said that out loud to myself in the car. I've been sitting here every week telling you about my bathroom mirror, my Target parking lot, my Post-it note, 4 years of Sundays. And all of that is true. But it's mine. And it only comes from one nervous system, from one childhood, and from one very specific set of circumstances that got me to where I'm at. And somewhere in the last 13 weeks, I think I just started believing that if I kept sharing one story honestly enough, that would be enough. But here's the thing I keep coming back to. As women, we're not really taught to choose ourselves. We're taught to care for everyone else first. And if there's anything left over, maybe we get to care for ourselves. We're taught to shrink, to fit into whatever mold, to just be smaller. So we take up less space, cause less trouble for everybody around us. But what if we didn't do that anymore? What if we got to rise and be bold, be loud, and be brave, and actually take up the space that we need? And what if we taught the next generation of women, our daughters, to do the same? So it's not something they have to go unlearn at 35 like a lot of us are doing right now. Because here's what actually got me here. It wasn't just my own work. It wasn't just the somatic sessions or the journaling or the 5:30 alarm. It was surrounding myself with women who believed that I was worth more than my past, more than my brokenness. Women who could see the beauty in my healing before I could always see it in myself. It was Stephanie handing me back a Post-it note that I forgot I had even wrote. Or Jamie sitting across from me every other week while I figured out who I even was without survival running the show. That's what actually let me begin. Not doing it alone. I don't think I was ever really doing it alone, even when I felt like it. So if that's true for me, it's got to be true for other women too. And I don't think I get to keep that just to myself anymore, which is why the show's going to change shape just a little bit. And I've made the decision to bring on guests. And I'm going to be honest, that sentence is extremely uncomfortable to actually say out loud. We've talked about control this whole season, right? The bracing, the holding on too tight, the perfectionism that's really just fear of being seen wrong. And handing over this mic, even a little, means I don't fully control the story anymore. It becomes something bigger than just what happened in my head at 5:30 in the morning. But I keep thinking about what I said a couple weeks ago, that waiting isn't actually protecting you from anything. It's always been running out. It just doesn't feel urgent until somebody says it out loud. So I'm saying it out loud. So here's what this is going to look like. I'm not going to do interviews. I don't want this to feel like some Q&A with a stranger answering questions in some order across the table from me. I want the guest episodes to feel like actual conversations that I have with the women in my life who've changed me. The ones that happen over coffee or in the car or on somebody's couch at 11 at night when you probably should have left an hour ago. But you just can't stop talking. So I'm doing something a little different with the format. For each guest, I'm splitting her story into 2 episodes. The first one is going to be about her, just her, who she was before, what she survived, the moment, or maybe just the slow knowing when she chose herself. No business talk, no credentials, just the woman. The second episode is about the work. how that healing turned into something she now actually does for other women. What she noticed in herself that made her build whatever she's built, what it looks like now, day to day, and who it's for. Because I don't really think that you can separate the two. I never could, honestly. That's kind of been the whole point of this show since episode 1. The outer work always reflects the inner work. So if we're going to talk about somebody's work, we got to start with the woman first. And I'm not going to tell you who's coming yet. Not because it's a big secret, but because I don't want you meeting her through my introduction of her. I want you meeting her the way I've met the women who've actually shaped me in this part of my life. Mid-story, no resume first. What I can tell you is who these women are. They're women who did their own healing first. And somewhere in that, it turned into work. Work that helps other women come back to themselves too. Somatic work, energy work, relationship work. The kind of work that only exists because a woman went through something and came out the other side knowing something she didn't know before. But last week I asked myself if I actually believed what I've been saying all season, that we stop waiting for permission, that we stop waiting to feel ready before we do the thing, that the decision always comes before the evidence. So this is me, not waiting. This isn't the end of my story on this show. It's just not the only one that gets to be told here anymore. And honestly, I think that's kind of what this show was always supposed to become. Even if I didn't know that back in episode 1 when I started, when I was too scared to even hit record. So thank you for being here with me for the last 13 episodes of just me. It's meant more than you know. And I cannot wait for you to meet the women who have shaped me into the person who is sitting here right now today. And I will see you next time. Thank you for spending this time with me. Remember, the work you're doing in the world is always connected to the work happening within you. And here, we take care of both the woman and the work. I'll see you in the next one.